Hi, my name is Kingshuk Roy and I'm from the Group Internal Consulting team. Today I'm going to talk about creativity and give you some tips around creativity. While I talk about creativity, I'm going to touch upon two related topics, closed world and fixedness. So what is creativity? I'll give you something very practical to understand creativity. In creativity, there are few dimensions. One dimension is originality. How original is the idea? The second dimension is usefulness. It is not enough to be just original. You have to be useful as well. It has to offer some use to your customers, to your employees, to the community, to the client, so on and so forth. Creativity is where both originality and usefulness is very high. In fact, there is another third dimension to creativity, which is simplicity. Creativity cannot be something complex. It has to be very simple to understand and very simple to implement. Now let me tell you a story to explain the concept of closed world and inside the box. The story goes back to hundreds of years when the Mongolian army came to invade India. The Mongolian army consisted of light riders, and the Indian army that was created to defend India consisted of war elephants. The second problem the Mongolian general had was that the Indian army was 5 times larger. So just imagine the field. Here is the Mongolian army with the light riders, 5 times smaller army as against the huge Indian army as they have these war elephants. The strategy was failing. The war elephants, they march, they crash everything, and then the light riders and the infantry come to clean up the work. The Mongolian army was expected to lose. What could the Mongolian general do? Well, let's think with him. He could call the Air Force to bomb the elephants. Now, of course, this is a ridiculous idea because there was no Air Force at that point of time. But let's assume there was an Air Force. Calling the Air Force is something that any general could find. No one would miss such an opportunity. So it could retreat. I'm sure that this is an option for a Mongolian army, but let's assume there is an option to retreat. Do you really imagine a general would miss this opportunity to retreat? To go back? Probably not. So if we think outside the box, there are two kinds of opportunities. One, which is a bizarre one, and the second one, which would be a regular one. The bizarre one is like the Air Force one, and the regular ones sometimes are good ones. They are sometimes very traditional, they're routine, however they're not creative. Outside the conceptualist closed world of the problem, there are a lot of ideas. Most of them are either bizarre or they are traditional. But we are interested in creative ideas. Let's first see what the general did. The Mongolian general decided to set fire on the camels. And then the camels, he sent them to run towards the elephant. The elephant saw the flaming camels running towards him as a firewall. They never saw such a thing. Animals are afraid of fire. Therefore, the elephants with panic turned round and ran towards the Indian army, crashed them, and the Mongolian army took this opportunity and gradually invaded. In fact, in many creative ideas, a problem is actually an opportunity. The Mongolian general found a way to turn a problem, a shortcoming, which was the elephants, the war elephants, into an opportunity. What he saw there was a resource to that opportunity. This is actually the source of the problem. The truth is that every situation contains problems and opportunities, and sometimes the opportunities are part of the problem definition itself. Let us move to the next part, which is fixedness. Fixedness survives because it helps us in our everyday life. Imagine a situation you are driving down the road quite peacefully. Suddenly you see a tractor trailer coming towards you at 100 kilometers per hour. What do? You suddenly, with your instinct, probably turn the wheel very quickly and step on the brakes. Now what happens if you step on the brakes but nothing happens? You keep on trying and trying and trying harder and press the brake harder. It's not working. Then what? What do you do then? So fixedness is that first reaction that will help you actually survive in those situations. It's the reaction that tells you to turn the wheel and step on the brakes. It's very important that you don't think at that point of time. You just react. It will save your life. And so what we want to talk right now is how we define fixedness, and specifically a type of fixedness where it helps us in our life, and how and when we have to break it and overcome it to probably not save our lives, but perhaps to be creative. I would like to share with you some of my great drawing skills, which are generally not great, but as you can tell, but let me give it a try. Most of you would probably guess what I intended to draw over here. It's a television. Now you're able to perceive that as a television, which is good, even though my drawing is really bad and it's lacking a lot of details. Now, our human psychology is such that helps us to understand that even on this kind of a sketch, we perceive this as a television. Now let's say I would draw the following thing. What is this? This would probably be, say, a dishwasher or an oven, but it's probably not a television. The fact is that it's just upside down the television. Structural fixedness is a tendency to think of an object as a whole with a defined structure. Move to the second part, which is the functional fixedness. Find a few things in common with these 5 innovations. We have an exercise bike which came up from the bicycle, and the objective of inventing a bicycle was transportation, moving from one place to another. The key component of a bicycle are the bicycle wheels. In an exercise bike, the bicycle wheel, which is the most critical component, has been removed. What about the contact lenses? The contact lenses is spectacles, right? And the key component of a spectacle are the frames. The contact lenses, the frames has been removed. In instant soup, the water has been removed from the soup. What about Amazon.com? Remove the store from the product. They subtracted the product, they subtracted the inventory, and came up with a new business invention, which is the e-commerce business. What about the ATM machines, the actual bank? The teller is removed. They've also removed the market research. They look into the utilization of the ATMs. If the utilization is very high, they immediately take a decision to start up a branch of the bank in that particular area. So that's where we come to the end of this video. So what are the takeaways? The closed world consists of current components, current relationship between the components, and the current concepts. If you want to change the concept, if we are going to change the technology, if we are changing the mindset, if we are changing our strategy in a very sharp way, then we are moving away from the closed world. The closed world is a principle, it's not a tool. So look for opportunities under your nose. That's the world of creativity. Thank you very much.